you said you wanted to speak on gender roles and expectations in relationships.
Oh, yes, yes.
So what?
Oh, the juicy stuff. I love it. Well, yeah, I mean, as someone who was dating a woman for years, and yes, I was the more masculine one, if we're just wondering. It wasn't always like this. No, yes, yeah, she'll tell you. My sister.
Is it always like that? Like there's one masculine, one feminine?
You know, I would say 9 times out of 10, I think there is, but also I will say from where I'm at, because you know all different parts of the world there's so many different types of people, and I would say where I'm at, New York, New Jersey, it's usually like that. You have the one feminine, one masculine, but I also, with years of dating women and not dating men, now that I'm with the man, I'm just like, okay, got it. Like, it's not only, I'm like, it's not really supposed to be like that, but I have seen like feminine, or even masculine, that's happened.
Right.
I've dabbled. But it's a thing.
Who pays on the date if you?
Let me tell you, I was going broke, so I would say.
Can I tell you all the questions you guys are gonna have for her? I've grown up asking her, so I can understand.
Yes,
So, like,
she's
why
still
do you
studying me.
think that is? Like, if you guys are women and you want to be with a woman, like, why is one trying to look like, or I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but why is one looking like a man or trying to look like a man?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I can't speak for all of us, right? But for me, initially, I felt as if I had to take on that masculine role, right? So that was also a lot of trauma response too. So if we're being real and diving deep into things, a lot of it was I felt like I had to be that man, set that good male example. So even if that means you're playing the part, you're playing dress up, like for me that's what it was. And I wasn't able to be like in my feminine energy and as soft as I wanted to be. Don't get me wrong, still super masculine, but that was the thing. Now I'm a little bit more feminine.
Were you playing that role before you met or was that after, or is that a discussion y'all had?
With my current man?
No, with before the woman that you were dating.
Okay.
Like, did y'all discuss who was going to be more masculine? Who was?
Honestly,
I'm gonna tell y'all, no, that was a very natural situation. Watching it unfold.
If we're being honest, my father definitely raised me to be the little son, little boy. She was the girly girl, I was not. But also, I still, again, to this day, I'm super tomboy. I think I just pushed it a little bit more because I felt like that was what was right. It was comfortable, and at a young age, I was like high school when this was happening. Easily impressionable. Everybody was like the fad. Everyone could do it. You know what I mean?
And I would just like to point out, like, again, this circles back to our topic about like marriages and things circling back to Christ, because like our mom raised us very Catholic in the church. God is everything, and our father was atheist. Probably still is.
Yeah.
So, granted, they were married till her dying day, but that was also very confusing and affected us a lot in our decision making growing up, our personalities, especially partners that we've chosen. I'm not the father of my kids. We were together for 5 years. That didn't work out for various reasons. But the person I'm with now for the last 3 years, I mean, he's wonderful. He's like best dad in the world. Like, their dad is still around, but stepdad for sure.
The whole acting out the traits of the opposite sex is really interesting, because if you look at men, homosexual, who are attracted to the same sex, they start to almost present a caricature of a woman that even women don't even sound like that. It's like it's like a woman that's cast in like a TV show that's over the top, but then with the hand waving and the lisping and all of that, what's the equivalent for lesbians?
Yeah.
I got you. First with let's jump into.
Is it like crushing a can?
Sitting with your legs apart.
What do you do?
So first with the fashion, so it's the look, right? You gotta nail it, right? You gotta sell it.
Like Young M.A.
Yeah.
Hello,
so you look
goodbye.
like Rosie the Riveter. You're all like, let's go to the bar.
The snapback was a thing. It was a thing.
Yeah.
We didn't sag the pants because that's not
White
cute.
tank top.
What? Listen, tattoo showing. I'm
Doc
like,
Martens,
like,
rolled up.
No, Jordans.
Oh,
It was Jordans.
okay,
It was Nikes. Yes, kept it cute. She would have.
Not my sister.
But also, it's just a matter of like everything. Again, it goes back to wanting that male presence in your life to be that good example. So I'm like, okay, what would a good man do? Walk on this side of the street, pay for the dinners. You know, somebody looks at you crazy. I'm just like, what's up? We got issues. You know what I mean? And again, sometimes that didn't put me in the best positions in life, and you know, but that's part of learning, right?
You said something really interesting when you were saying I was pretending to be the masculine type. You said it was a trauma response.
Yes.
So you, in your masculine energy, that was a trauma response?
Yes, because I saw it as, again, when I was growing up, as my sister explained, like our father figure and stuff, I feel like, love him, but there were a lot of things that I feel he didn't protect us in ways that he had to, you know what I'm saying? And we didn't get the best version of him that we could have. So in moments where I felt like I needed it the most, when life is hard, high school, you know, you're going through all these like life changes, I was just like, all right, I'll just do what I think I need to do. And also, you know, there's a lot of that codependency in that relationship too, because she kind of had a male figure that wasn't the best at the moment, and we're both trying to figure it out. But yeah, I think that's really what it was. Not to say that it wasn't real, the feelings weren't real. I think it's just I wasn't being real to myself.
It's really interesting, though, because feminism obviously pushes women in a masculine direction. It argues that they should prioritize masculine things. But on the flip side of the coin, feminism also waits for a woman to be hurt by a man. Then it jumps in the picture and promises everything. So a lot of times I'll go to colleges and I'll talk to these girls and I'll say, we've all had bad experiences with men in our lives. Every single guys have had bad experiences with men, but feminism waits at your doorstep and promises you the world to heal you from that trauma. And it just seeps in at the wrong moment. And that's why I find feminism is so predatory on women who may not have had good father figures or have had traumatic relationships, or, you know, women who grew up with a development of an attachment style trauma. If they had an anxious attachment develop because they were abandoned, or avoidant attachment develop because they were also probably abandoned. A lot of times girls with trauma will end up as feminists, and it's, you know, and then be presenting as masculine because it's literally a predatory ideology.
There's also, they used to study it more. They just coincidentally kind of stopped putting in the spotlight, but like early abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse used to be studied with both men and women, homosexuality. And they just kind of like, no, I was born this way. They kind of skip that aspect, and they're like, no, I'm going to just skip to I'm born this way, which doesn't make any sense still to this day, because can you imagine the doctor like raising the child and being like, it's gay? It's like, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot more to these stories, but because it's been sold as like, I agree with you, that sort of reaction, it's sold as empowerment. You're going to be a feminist and a lesbian, and then they just jump right into the role. But it's like that's why I wanted to ask you, not that you could know this, but would you suspect there are other women who went through kind of similar thing as you, and they are essentially doing a kind of role playing? Not that you would confront them directly, that might not go well, but can you tell? You think you could tell?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's people that either like I've worked with in the past, just a friend of a friend, and usually those people are the one that are telling me their life story immediately. And just through that, if I'm a firm believer, all you got to do is listen to somebody for a few seconds to really get an understanding of who they are. And because I've been through it, they're talking, and I'm just like, yeah. So I would definitely say it's a thing, just from what they say, how they act about certain things, even bringing certain things up could be touchy. They get defensive, and I'm just like, yeah, that's all trauma.
Would you say that women who are feminine are also healed or healthy?
Honestly, I would like to lean towards that, because I would say I've been in relationships, whether it was male or female, that I just felt like I always had to be on guard. I had to be the lead, and it was too much. And I'm like, this is not natural. Then going into a relationship where I'm like, oh, like this is actually great. I like being able to just do my job and be a woman, because like that's what I am, and it is healing. So I would definitely like to side with that, and yeah.
And like the trauma can put you, like as a woman, it can put you like one of two ways. You either have that kind of response where you dabble like sexually with like the opposite sex, or you're in the other category where you dabble sexually with the same sex, but now everybody gets it because you think that you're in your feminist power. You can just take control of your sexuality and give it to everybody. Like I subscribed to that when I was younger, and it didn't do anything for me. I had to like literally give my life back to Christ and like remember my roots.
That's one of the one of the most egregious from the feminist ideology is like it takes what's leverage for women, your sex, your virginity, your chastity, your virtue, and it flips it and says, no, that is your power. And a Christian says, yeah, that's partly is your power. But it says, give it away, basically give it away. Like, here you go, like free. And again, there's a long process here. You go back to the 60s, there's a dedicated movement toward psychedelics, free love, concentrated effort to get that to happen. And lo and behold, just a couple decade or two later, the foundation of the home starts to wither away, and then women are like, I'm not having kids, like I'm not going to be a slave to the kitchen. Meanwhile, if you just kind of, it could be the case that the truest form of feminism is being a homemaker. Right. What if that was a form of feminism? If you watched the debate yesterday, I asked Oliver that. I said, is it possible that being a homemaker is the best feminism, right? Could it be redefined as like the best expression of women? And he couldn't combat it. It just happens to be the case, like you said, that like there's this like feminism produces a bunch of weak men impersonators. They're not even strong men impersonators. They're weak men impersonators. Yeah, and it's just not, I think it's, God willing, it's starting to fall apart now.
The other silly thing that feminism does is it makes women hold two completely contradictory ideas in their mind at the same time. And specifically relating to how they view sex, it's either super casual and I relate to it the same way that a guy does and it doesn't affect me at all, or on the other extreme, don't look at me the wrong way because you're a sexist, I'm going to take you to court. And so if someone, and feminism is full of these, I'm writing a book right now called 100 Ways Feminism is a Failure.
I can't wait to buy.
It's going to be good, it's going to be fun. We go through a little bit of the history of feminism and uncover all the dirtiness, because most people don't even know that the suffragette was like equivalent to BLM in the amount of damage that they did to society, like physical arson, bombings, everything. But we also go through every single major contradiction that feminism holds at the same time, starting from I'm a woman, also there's no definition of a woman. Sex is not important at all and totally casual, and also I'm gonna Me Too you at the first opportunity that I can. We go through a bunch of other stuff as well, but that's how feminism controls women. It literally makes them crazy because you cannot have two separate ideas in your mind at the same time, because you're gonna be split between them and someone's just gonna be able to come in and insert whatever they think the truth is on you.
Make sure to add in the book the early contradiction of the suffragettes physically and basically any way possible shutting down what was the majority of women coming out to say we don't want this.
We don't want to vote.
They're
Exactly.
like, no, you can't. You can't do a preliminary vote against your own vote. They like shut it down.
Yes,
which
no,
is
exactly.
a contradiction.
That's a huge part of it. And also, it's funny. You have Rosie on your shirt, and you know what's funny about Rosie? She worked for 5 or 6 days in the metal factory, and then decided it was too hard, it was too dangerous, and she left. She became a cellist after that.
And it's funny because you'll always see girls on Instagram, like feminist girls, talking about, oh, I don't want a simp. I don't want a guy that's just gonna like submit to everything I say. But then in the same tone, they're like, I
will not submit.
I will not. Like,